All right, I think we got time for maybe three more. Al, Nate, and Pat, and that's it.
Hey, Kevin, Al Muskie from the Anniston Star. It's funny that you mentioned money on your last comment because that's something I wanted to ask you about. The NFL draft is here these today, tomorrow, and within the next couple of days, we're going to start finding out the big contracts that these players are going to be signing with their teams that drafted them. To my, and they're going to make a big hoo-ha about the number that is attached to that, whatever million it's going to be. To my knowledge, NASCAR teams are a lot more quiet when it comes to those kind of details on the contracts between themselves and their drivers. What do you think that is, and what NASCAR is different than the stick and ball sports? And I got another one behind that if you can help me.
That's a good question. I don't have an answer to that one. I think it's just a much different environment. I think that the baseball and they have a lot more rules as far as luxury taxes and salary caps and things like that. Here there's none of that. So in the end, the off-track stuff is a lot like the on-track stuff. It's very competitive, and everybody's trying to take everybody's sponsor, I guess would be the best way to put it. So you don't really want everybody to know what you're paying your driver, because it might be too low or it might be too high, because you want to keep all those things to yourself, because that's another element of the competition off the racetrack that is created that is just like on the racetrack. So you keep your driver salaries quiet, you keep your crew chief salaries quiet. Everybody in the garage pretty much knows where everybody else is at, and the sponsors are very good, especially nowadays, at keeping each other in check as far as knowing how much everybody's paying each team. So there's a lot of different scenarios that pop up as far as bonuses and salaries. You'll never hear anything about them, so unless you're in the garage.
Would you think that once somebody steps out of line and that gets out, and it'll start just a big hoo-ha on negotiating and bargaining and all that kind of stuff? And then secondly, how have you seen contracts between drivers and teams change since you've broken in?
Yeah, I think the contracts, being on the ownership side of it, you've seen a lot of changes. The sponsors have gotten so big and so much money. There's a lot of stipulations as far as what you can do if you leave a team, not leave a team, where the sponsor can go, can't go. I mean, it all just depends on the situations, and it winds up in the lawyer's hands more than it does in the actual drivers and owners' hands.
Okay, two more questions. Nate and Pat. Go ahead, Nate.
Nate Ryan, USA Today. Kevin, following up on, you don't know where you're going Cup-wise for the future, but knowing that you are so heavily invested with Chevrolet, I guess, in the Nationwide and Truck Series, not just with your team, but building chassis for other truck teams, is it fairly certain that no matter where you drive in the Cup Series in the future, it would probably be a Chevrolet?
That'd be a good, fair statement.
All right, we'll end with Pat.
Kev, Pat Patterson, Sirius NASCAR Radio over here.
Gotcha.
Last year when we came here in the fall, we saw two cars just on top of each other all the way around the racetrack. I'm curious, because now that we've kind of got the have at it boys thing, and you can do that if you want to, how much of a ticking time bomb is that for the car in the rear in terms of how fast you're going to heat up an engine? If we get down towards the end of the race and two cars do manage to break away by themselves, I mean, is that a 3-lap, 4-lap, 5? I mean, how fast does the gauge go up?
I did it yesterday in the Nationwide car, and it's a little bit different than the Cup car. And it was in one lap, it was 260 degrees, so that's pretty fast. It won't take long. Yeah, I think I mean, if you're down to the end of the race, you might be able to get 3 laps out of it, but I don't know that you'll be able to stick together that long. But it's going to happen. I mean, you're going to see guys getting pushed out there and things like that. So it's very easy here as long as you're straight. I mean, once you get on them, as long as you're square up on the guy's back bumper, you just hold it on the mat and go, baby, go.
Kevin, thank you so much for your time, and good luck this weekend.
Thanks.